All right. Welcome, all ascenders and relocators, to the spiritual sanctuaries. This is Clarity Guru, giving you a preview of what to expect there. The first couple of videos we've covered one of the conventions that we'll use of calling the previous teachings on planet Earth insufficient. Okay, that's a basic convention that we're going to adopt to deal with that. Now, on this video, we're going to take a look about what is sufficient. Teachings of clarity, we'll call the new teachings clarity. Okay, you don't need to call them a religion. Let's call them the new teachings. The new teachings. The new teachings are called clarity. That's why I say I'm Clarity Guru, a Clarity Guru. Because I'm clear about the teachings, that's why. You find yourself in a spiritual sanctuary. You notice that there doesn't seem to be, there's something different. You know, something different here. You say, wow, it really feels, fantastic. Very life-affirming, the atmosphere, everything is just like a paradise, you say, it looks like, a beautiful park and paradise and it's gorgeous, but there's a different feel to it. And you say, what is it? And you gradually start noticing things are a little different here. And you say, whoa, wait, how is this possible? Okay, let me explain this to you. Planet Earth, where you came from, is it's an effect of an idea. Everything that you experience is an effect of an idea. You don't experience ideas directly, you experience them through their effects, of course. The idea gives birth to the effects, and then you experience the effects. Your true identity is spirit, idea, and mind, three-part identity. Spirit chooses ideas, and mind presents the ideas to spirit. So spirit says, I want to have this idea and see what the experience is. And then mind presents the idea and spirit experiences those effects. So planet you came from, planet Earth, is the effects of an idea. Okay? However, it's the effects of the idea of trying to create a new identity. Okay, this is the key teaching. That's the problem. The reason why the experience was the way that it was because the attempt to create a new identity is impossible to experience. You can't really experience the new identity. All you can experience is the attempt to create a new identity, but you don't experience the new identity. And so therein lies the problem. And that idea is entirely problematical, 100% problematical. Okay, and we'll get into that later. The reason why you are here in the spiritual sanctuaries is because you decided to choose a new idea. Okay, the only way to move on from the effects of one idea is to choose a new idea. And that new idea, then you'll experience the effects of that idea. That's the only way. You decided the way to move on from this very futile idea of trying to create a new identity is to choose a new idea. You chose the idea of not trying to create a new identity. Okay, that's an idea that has continuity. Some basic continuity. When you try to create a new identity and you decide, I'm going to try not to create a new identity, the effects as far as form goes can seem to be similar. So you can actually have a dwelling place like a spiritual sanctuary that still has the familiar format as far as the surroundings. However, there's something very different. Okay, very different. The idea of trying to create a new identity, the essential aspect of attempting to do this is that you have to get rid of the previous identity, the identity that you already have. You got to get rid of it. You got to negate it. So you have a dualistic dynamic in that idea of construction and destruction. In order to destroy something, you have to construct it first. If you want to bulldoze a house, you got to build the house first, and then you bulldoze it. You can't just bulldoze empty space and say, well, I bulldozed a house. No, you got to construct it first. So if you want to negate anything, that first has to be something to be negated. And since you cannot negate your true identity, you have to create symbolic forms of that identity, forms that symbolize it, and then destroy those forms and claim that that's evidence that you can negate your true identity. So you have a dualistic, and planet Earth was a dualistic, part of the dualistic dynamic, part of the effects of the idea of trying to create a new identity, which has a dualistic dynamic of construction and destruction, and that is why it was the experience that it was. Okay? Here, in the spiritual sanctuaries, you have the idea of not trying to create a new identity. Therefore, you're not trying to negate your true identity. So, this is a place where there's not negation taking place. It's not dualistic. Construction can take place here. I mean, there can be constructs here. Okay? But you're not negating them. You're not trying to negate them. There's no dynamic of negation. So you see the trees, you see the flowers, you see everything, and they seem like they've been there forever, because there's nothing that is trying to negate them. In the effects of this idea of not trying to create a new identity, you still have to have evidence that you're not trying to negate. So therefore you do have the trees and the flowers and everything there as evidence that you're not trying to negate, and they remain, they seem eternal. There's nothing that is negating them. Okay, and you say, I can feel that I'm not trying to create a new identity here, and therefore I feel my true identity here, the presence of my true identity. This is all evidence that you're not trying to negate your true identity at all. Okay, so that's the feeling you have in the spiritual sanctuaries. Very simple, you know. Just say, you see a tree, say, my gosh, tree, it's like you seem like you've been there forever, you know. And no harm. I don't see any harm anywhere to you. But yet it's still a tree. And you say, my gosh, back on planet Earth, there were trees, but there was evidence everywhere of negation on that tree, you know. Everywhere you look in planet Earth, that there was sure, there were constructs, but there are also destructs, you know, negation, evidence of negation everywhere you look. There's nothing I ever saw that didn't have evidence of negation. Whereas here in the spiritual sanctuary, there's evidence of construction, constructs, but no evidence of negation, you know. And you say, so I like this. I say, wow, is it going to last, you know? Yes. Okay, we'll get into that in the next video. Will it last? Okay, key question. I'll see you then. This is Clarity Guru saying, see you to the Ascenders and Relocators. See you next video.